Hi everyone, in this video we are sharing the discuss questions with model answers used in the study of Dr. Tim Gray's lecture on Imitatio Christi from his Lectio series. In this episode 5, he made reference to Philippians 2 verses 12 to 18, Philippians 2 verses 19 to 30, and Philippians 3 verses 1 to 16. Discuss questions. 1. What was one thing you heard for the first time or that was a aha moment for you? One aha moment from the sources highlights Timothy and Epaphroditus as concrete models and imitators of Jesus. They vividly illustrate how profound theological concepts like Christ's kenosis, descent and self-emptying and obedience are not just abstract doctrines but are meant to be lived out by believers in their daily lives. Dr. Tim Gray explicitly states they are models and imitators of Jesus in the hymn. Timothy, a model of Christ's mind. Timothy, embodiment of Christ's humble mind. Timothy is commended by Paul for being genuinely anxious for your welfare. This characteristic directly reflects the mind of Christ, who was humble, counted others as better than himself, and did not seek his own interests. Timothy is an example of what Jesus did by seeking the will of Christ before his own will. His behavior stands in contrast to others who look after their own interests, not those of Jesus Christ. Epaphroditus, mirroring Christ's sacrificial obedience. Epaphroditus poured himself out and almost died like Christ. He undertook a difficult journey to deliver the Philippians collection to Paul and fell gravely ill, nearer to death. His willingness to risk his life in service mirrors Jesus' own sacrificial obedience, even unto death. The clarity of these individuals as living examples of the Imitatio Christi provides a powerful understanding of what it means to embody the self-sacrificial and humble spirit of Jesus. Paul's recipe for community. Kenosis. 2. What is Paul's recipe or plan for making a community of friendship? Paul's recipe for community. Humility and selflessness. Kenosis. Paul's recipe for fostering a community of friendship is deeply rooted in the imitation of Christ, Imitatio Christi, and the principles embodied in the hymn of Christ. It is not a mere set of rules, but a call to embody a specific mindset and way of living that mirrors Jesus' own self-sacrificial obedience. Key ingredient 1. A shared mind of humility and selflessness, kenosis. Paul emphasizes being in the same mind, same spirit, humble, counting others as better than yourself, and not seeking your own interests. This directly reflects the mind of Christ, who did not count equality with God as something to be exploited for self-gain. Timothy is a concrete model of this, being genuinely anxious for your welfare rather than his own interests, contrasting with those who look after their own interests. Paul's recipe, obedience, sacrifice, and shared suffering, koinonia. Key ingredient 2, obedience and good works as a living sacrifice. The community is called to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Good works are essential to stay justified, to inherit heaven, and be a child in good standing. These works are through God's grace operative in us. This obedience, like Jesus' obedience even unto death, leads to a sacrifice. The moral life is a liturgical life, because it's a pleasing offering and sacrifice to God the Father for His glory. Key ingredient 3, shared suffering and partnership in mission, koinonia. Community is encouraged to rejoice in suffering and kenosis, as it conforms them to Christ and leads to glory. This includes being accountable to suffer with Christ, entering into sacrificial cultic temple worship of the Father. The community is a joint venture, sharing in the sacrifice and the risk and the fruits together. Their mission is to shine as lights in the world as suffering servants. Epaphroditus is a model of this by pouring himself out and almost dying. Paul's recipe, perseverance and general principles. Paul's recipe, perseverance and radical principles for all communities. Key ingredient 4, perseverance and continual pressing on. Paul cautions against complacency, stating that once saved, always saved is not his belief. Making one profession of faith doesn't mean you cross the finish line. It means you begin the race. Like an athlete, Paul presses on to make it my own, forgetting what lies behind and straining forward to what lies ahead, to the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. This demonstrates the ongoing commitment required. General principles for any community. Embrace kenosis. Actively look for ways to pour yourself out for others, just as Epaphroditus did. Count all as loss for Christ. Adopt Paul's perspective that whatever gain I had, I counted as loss for the sake of Christ, and indeed, everything is crap compared to knowing Jesus Christ. Press on continually. Fostering deep community is an ongoing journey. Continue to press on with determination.
Thank you for viewing. May God bless you today and always.